What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and if you could hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. Today we're going to talk about Glock barrel upgrades or barrel upgrades on firearms in general, right? We all know Glock has so many aftermarket companies out there that make awesome products for it, and that just definitely helps when it comes to owning a Glock. Now, people always who watch my videos that actually don't watch the channel, they just come up on a short or a video randomly. They're like, oh, you had to change everything on your Glock to make it carry worthy, or you had to change everything on your Glock to make it happy. Guys, as a firearm owner, I think we all can say we like to customize our firearms, right? We like to make them ours. We like to change them up. We like to add our own touch to them, hopefully without affecting the reliability. Now, when it comes down to it, I always get questions about barrels. They'll say, oh, I just got this new Glock. Should I change the barrel? The answer is no. Glock barrels are actually really good barrels. They last a long time, and they go through a lot, and they can handle it. Usually, you don't need to change your barrel until tens of thousands of rounds, and a lot of people won't even get that through their main firearms and so on. So the answer is no, you don't. So what is the point of all these extra barrels? I do a lot of builds, right? So I will go out and buy, instead of just buying a Glock OEM, maybe I want to mix the color up with something. Maybe I want to get a conversion barrel. Maybe I just want to do a cheap build, so you go with a barrel like that, right? Glock OEM barrels go through a lot. This is one for my Glock 23. They can handle basically anything. They keep their finish pretty well. Obviously, right here is about the only place that you'll ever see wear and tear, as well as right here, but it's never enough to affect the function of the firearm or its ability to shoot properly. Now, the rifling is the only thing, and that depends on what kind of rounds you shoot. If you're shooting steel ammo all the time, yes, you're going to need a new barrel quicker. But until then, you don't need to change your Glock barrels. They all run really well. Now, the problem with aftermarket barrels is some of them can definitely affect the function of the firearm. That's for sure. I've had it happen. I've had barrels that rub up against my trigger bar. I've had so many issues with certain barrels that now I only trust a few companies, right? For conversion barrels, this is right here a Glock 33 357 SIG. So basically, if you have a Glock 27, you can make it a Glock 33 chamber and 357 SIG, right? This is a Lone Wolf barrel. I've had zero issues with Lone Wolf. I've heard of people that do have issues with them, but I haven't, and I have a couple of these barrels, right? So for a conversion barrel, if you're converting your firearm, yes, you're going to want to get an aftermarket barrel, right? So you can have multiple calibers shot out of one firearm. Sorry, these barrels are dirty too. Or if you're doing a build, maybe you want to match up your barrel with some part, you know, like a back plate, or you just want to customize it. Yes, of course, get an aftermarket barrel. There's no problem with it. Don't listen to people who say, oh, you need to change everything on your Glock to make it a good firearm. That's not true at all. Glocks, yes, their triggers are medium, but everything else, good right out of the box, except the sights. I will say that. Always change your Glock sights, but it is what it is. Now, there are some budget companies out there like this. This is a Bear Creek Arsenal barrel. I actually trust their barrels because I've had maybe 10 Bear Creek Arsenal barrels, and they all tend to run flawlessly. I haven't had any issues. They're by no means the best barrel when it comes to accuracy or anything like that, but for a build and a cheap build that you're not going to be carrying, you can't go wrong with a Bear Creek Arsenal barrel. They're like 60 bucks. Also, Combat Armory barrels. Once again, as long as you're not carrying it, going budget is fine. As long as it's a range toy. They were selling threaded barrels for like $35 for Glock 19s. And then Glock 26 barrels were like $30. So if you want, you can always go cheap on builds you're not going to carry. If you're going to carry, you want to trust companies like True Precision, Gray Ghost Precision, Barstow, KKM Precision. Like I said, I have a review coming on a KKM Precision barrel. The lead time is 5 to 6 weeks, so we're going to see if it's even worth it. They're $185, so $200 out the door. We're going to see if those barrels are even worth it. But for stuff like just getting a Glock and saying, oh, I need to change the barrel, that's not the case at all. It's a perfectly fine barrel OEM, especially the Gen 5 barrels tend to be a little better, at least Glock claims they are. But majority of this accuracy stuff has to do with the shooter, your grip on the firearm, where you're putting the pressure to handle the recoil, and so on. Also, how you're pulling that trigger. Which side are you pulling that trigger to if you're not keeping it straight? So a lot of times it's not the barrel. People want to immediately jump to that when it comes to accuracy. It's not. Glock barrels are good barrels. People who hate on Glock are just Glock haters. It is what it is. Anyone who understands firearms has to respect Glock regardless of their choice, simply because their longevity in firearms. People say that they're not innovative, but sorry, Glock's innovated a lot of stuff when it comes to the firearm community. I don't care what anyone says. And reliability and their track record with law enforcement and so on. So Anyways, no, you do not have to change out your Glock barrel, but if you're making a build, you're going to need a barrel for it. If you want to make it shoot multiple calibers, yes, you're going to need a conversion barrel for it. There are reasons for getting new barrels. Or if you just want to turn your Glock into something cool looking, then get one. Who cares what people say, right? Anyways, thanks for watching.